Hi, good afternoon, my lovely ladies. This is Sabina Matharo. I'm your business startup in growth strategist, and today I'm coming to you with another masterclass, which is entitled "The Five Entrepreneurial Mindsets." That help you to 10x your income in 2019. So what are you going to learn today? First and foremost, I'm going to show you how you can use your perspective to change your energy around your business. Discover the one thing that will really help you to achieve a breakthrough and move you from chasing leads to leads actually coming to you. And also, I would like to show you how to know what to do in your business to make a huge leap, as opposed to spending lots and lots of time on the wrong things that don't really drive bottom line results. Okay, so I've got my notes here, just in case you're wondering why I'm looking down. I have a couple of notes that just want to make sure that I keep on track and that I actually talk about those things that I just mentioned, because I know how important it is, and I know exactly at the same time how frustrating it can be when we are working in our businesses and we may not see the results that we would like to see. So if you're joining live, please just give me just let me know where you are joining from and what you do in your business. And if you're watching the replay, then of course let me know what you do as well. And of course, if you've got any questions, let me know. Just checking if you're all live and sound's working, because yeah, that's all good. So fabulous ladies. So let's get started. Take some notes because there's quite a meaty chunk of information there. Okay, so it's really, I made it really practical. And at the end, I will also have a couple of journaling questions for you, because I really want you to be able to implement whatever you know take away from today. I want you to implement that as well. Okay, so make sure you've got something handy to write. So if you're like me, I'm not sure if you know where I'm coming from. I'm actually from Austria originally. I then moved to the UK after my degree, and I restarted my life from scratch. So I'm actually quite familiar with regards to how to actually build something from scratch, if it's like a career, a new life, new businesses, and this is what I help other women to do as well. But what happened when I set up my own business after I left corporate, it was really difficult, and I got really hung up, and I did a lot of things which I now realize weren't really necessary. Like, for example, I thought I needed a website in order to be able to have a successful business, but that's not really the case. So these are the things I'm going to tell you about. The 5 top things are my learnings and how I was able to turn my business from 0 to over 100 paying clients within a space of 90 days. Okay, so this stuff really works, and it's just a couple of tweaks here and there. And we all know it, right? We know that sometimes we look at these super successful people and we ask ourselves, how did they do it? And then there's your little monkey on your shoulder, and that monkey, he or she actually talks to you and it says, well, it works for them, it's all right for them, but it doesn't work for me. Well, I guess this is probably how we can really set ourselves up for failure, because we are having this negative self-talk before we actually try. And it's really important. How do we approach our businesses and our everyday life is really important in order to succeed, and how we actually think about the business and how we go about doing things. Okay, so it is the mindset, yes, and I'm not a mindset coach, to be honest. I pretty much operate in an area where I help women launch their businesses, launch their products, and put steps in place, A, B, and C. And you will actually know, I won't talk that much about the energetic side of the mindset, but literally how do you marry mindset and business strategy so that you can make a huge leap. Okay, so this is something I have experienced in my business as well, because strategy on its own is not going to actually get you there. It's about marrying the both, and especially in times when you are stuck and when you are frustrated and you think, well, I have failed, what to do next? How can I really make this work? It doesn't work for me. Okay. The only thing that I would classify as a true failure, like we might think we have failed because we've implemented a strategy, we've ran some Facebook ads and they didn't work. But the only thing I would say, the only failure really is if you don't take any action. If inaction is probably then the failure, because even if you're moving ahead, doing things and trying things out, we are moving in the right direction, right? So it's all about having that part of their mindset that, because you could easily actually go into procrastination by thinking, well, I've tried that, I'm not going to do this again, right? You're going to actually lose the motivation, you're going to procrastinate, because the mindset really dictates when and how long you are going to take action, when you get started, and how long you will keep going. So this is the foundation. Let me repeat this again. The mindset dictates when and how long you are going to take action, and when you're going to get started, and how long you will keep going. And this is the reason why mindset is so fundamental when it comes to building and scaling a business. The other danger is that we think of lack when we think of scarcity, when we come from a mindset of scarcity. So it could be about thinking in limitation, thinking about the fact that there are so many other people out there that are already doing this kind of business, and that it's so super busy online and people are not listening to me. So that is the mindset of scarcity and thinking that I don't have a space. Hi, Victoria. Nice to see you. So let's dive into the 5 entrepreneurial mindsets, Victoria, perfect timing, that can help you 10x your income in 2019. So let's talk a little bit more about perspective. And I love the analogy in terms of going up a mountain. So as I already said, I'm from Austria. My whole branding is around, going on a journey, hiking, going on a mountain, following a path. So I want to just give you a little story, a little scenario, right? Imagine there's this huge mountain that you need to climb. So whatever journey you're going on to, like let's say you want to achieve something in your business, right? So when you're not going to give up from the outside, because you see this huge mountain, right? You're completely excited about climbing that mountain, and possibly what you're going to see when you reach the top of the mountain, what sort of view you will have, and what kind of feeling you will have, right? And this is, I guess, how we approach building our businesses, and the excitement in the outset, right? We're going to start climbing the mountain. And then, when we're walking up the mountain, all of a sudden it becomes a bit hard, because there's probably a river that we need to cross, and we don't have watertight shoes, or you may actually trip over some really big rocks. So you've got to climb over rocks. So this is where the challenges are coming in. And if you're sort of then halfway up the mountain and you're like, oh my gosh, I have already gone through so many challenges, and I've conquered the river, and I've conquered these rocks, you turn around and you're sort of halfway up. It's like, oh my gosh, are you going to give up, or are you going to go walk down the mountain again? Or are you thinking, hey, I've come this far, I've come like halfway up the mountain, which is brilliant, so I've just got another halfway up. So here you can change your perspective. Either it's like, oh my gosh, I'm only halfway up the mountain, I better walk down again because it's too difficult. Or you could think, wow, I've already made it halfway up. How amazing is that? There's only halfway to go now. So it's about your mindset here, like how your mind can actually trick, your brain can trick the way you think. And I guess if I thought, oh my gosh, there's another half to go, then I'm losing my motivation and I don't want to move forward, and I might turn around and maybe just go back into my old job or whatever it may be, right? So perspective is, and watch your language as well when talking about have already achieved so much or have only achieved that little, right? So that's really important to remember the perspective. And of course, we want to have the perspective of, hey, we've already made it this far. This is amazing, right? So the first perspective is the perspective of abundance, and the other opposite would be the one of scarcity. So the abundance, thinking, hey, I've already made it that far. And of course, the scarcity would be like, oh, I've only gone this halfway. I'm not, not even near the top. Okay, so we want to be in the mindset of abundance when we're building that business, so that we keep motivated, so we keep going, so that we, continue, being creative and being joyful. Okay, so that's definitely number one. Let's move to number two. So before we move to number two, another example about thinking in limitations and seeing the perspective in your business is possibly a bit sort of closer, not so abstract as abundance and scarcity. So you could be thinking, oh my gosh, Facebook is so full of people and nobody sees me, and there is not enough clients for everyone. So you might be overwhelmed with the competition, and you might think there isn't enough market for everyone. But just remember, competition is actually a good thing, because if there are other people running the same sort of business as you, that actually just means that money is already flowing in that area, and that there is a demand for that product. Like, for example, I don't know if you ever realize, when you go into even just a bookshop or a library and you go into the marketing section, I mean, how many books are out there for marketing? But it doesn't stop people actually writing more books about marketing, right? Because there's always new, different angles. Things are always changing on the market, right? And this is the same thing with what you do in your business and what you offer and how you connect with your audience. Okay, so it's abandon the thinking there isn't enough for everyone. Adopt the thinking there is enough for everyone. Okay. So the number two is replace expenses with investments. Okay, what do I mean by this? Now, I know, and I was the same. Sometimes I am still the same, because I need to weigh out where do I want to put my money in order to make the best out of it, the best return on investment for me and my business. But I know some people are generally completely nervous and hesitant about spending money on their business. Spending money on your business is actually a good thing. Of course, on the right things. I totally agree. For example, you might do Facebook ads, and you might think, oh, they haven't worked, so I've just spent that money, I lost that money, and you might see it as an expense rather than an investment. So, which, yeah, as you might probably guess, well, it's probably not the healthiest way to look at investments, or to say, well, it was an expense, I lost the money. What have you gained? I mean, doing Facebook ads, you have gained a lot of things, right? Of course, you may have gained some more followers. You may have gained, now a way of how to not do it. So you will have got some more experiences how to do Facebook ads, right? So you need to actually see the bigger picture and the long-term picture as well when it comes to investments in your business. For another example, doing some professional website or professional logos. So sometimes you might be running 100 miles an hour, and it's like, I don't need this, I don't need this. Sometimes you don't really need it. But if you take some good care, then obviously long term, that investment will really pay off many, many times, because you want to, for example, with the branding and the logo, if you want to sell some high value, products and services, then of course this is what you need to have in place. If you don't have that, then obviously you're going to spend a lot of time and energy and money actually maybe wasting further down the line to fix all the things, the mistakes, or that there may be customers which you may have lost just because some of the messaging wasn't congruent, or some of the branding wasn't just there for them to be able to really invest in you and to really trust you as the person who can actually deliver these higher end products. So these are kind of the things you might want to just think about when it comes to laying a really, really good foundation for your business. So mindset, my entrepreneurial mindset number 3 is to go after the low-hanging fruit. Now, we might all think that we need to slave away in our businesses and hustle and hustle and hustle. We hear that over and over again. However, doing too much work can actually be a bad thing, because I'm sure if you analyze the work that you do and the people that are coming into your business, I could guarantee you 20% of your work will bring 80% of results, because that is naturally the Pareto principle, the 80-20 rule. And that is so, I think for me, that was the same in my business. So when I started to analyze what are the things I'm actually doing that are bringing me results, so cut out some of the other things, then my business really, really took off. And plus, I created some more time and space to do other things, or spend time with my family. Okay, so go for the things that really have worked in your business. So it doesn't mean that you have to work any hour, hours and hours and hours, because you feel like you got to do it, or you're feeling guilty about it. You gotta try to keep things simple, because when you keep it simple, then also your potential customers will get it, right? If you have so many different offers or so many different facets to your brand, then it can get confusing for your potential clients as well. So keep it simple. A, it's much easier to get started, and B, keeping the momentum and going for long term, for the long haul, is actually much easier as well. You can do a little exercise. So if you've got a little note, there's a couple of questions that you need to ask yourself. So analyze the current activities that you do at this moment in time. So maybe just for 1 or 2 days, if you just keep a diary of how much time you spent chasing people, opening emails, being on Facebook, whatever it may be, write down what it is and how long you spent time doing this. And then analyze, what do you think were the activities that did bring leads, or would bring some leads if you did them more consistently or over more time. And you will then find that, again, 20% of those activities will bring 80% of the revenue. You could even do a little pie chart, wherever it is, and you will see what you're spending your time with and what you could potentially eliminate or decrease, like admin type of work. And we all know we could outsource the things, and sometimes we don't feel like outsourcing because we think we can do it better. But it's like, for me, for example, I decided in this year to actually close down one of my other Facebook groups, and I just want to concentrate on one Facebook group. And I have really clear strategy what I want to do in there, how often I'm going to go on there, and I also have limitations with regards to what I do on Facebook when I am on Facebook as well. So that really keeps the focus, and also, of course, the time. Let me see any comments. Martha's there as well. Hi, Nazreen, lovely. So ladies, if you have any questions, let me know. And otherwise, so do this little exercise, really, what are your current activities that you're doing in your business, and whether there's anything that you could sort of shift in order to really make more of an impact. Like, impact making activities, one for sure is to reach out and to be visible and to sell every single day. Okay, so that would be one, rather than tweaking Facebook page or tweaking a website or something like that. Okay, you get the gist. Number 4, so mindset number 4 is definitely set up a business that works around the clock, because the amount of money, quite contrary to what we actually learn in school, the amount of money that you make in your online business does not directly correlate with the amount of hours that you work, unless you, of course, sell, coaching by the hour or something like that. But if you are there to if you have digital products, for example, or like a membership or something like this, of course, you are leveraging the online market. So you're actually serving one to many. Or if you have group coaching programs and things like this, then obviously you're not really counting your hours and selling by the hour. So this is definitely a really, really good business model. And of course, you can do hybrid model as well, to have one area where it works for you 24/7, and that even people can find you when you are sleeping. And that actually means that you need to put some systems in place that will help you with that. Okay. And what we don't want to do is, we don't want to be spending 10, 12, 14 hours a day responding to emails or following up with people. So it's about really putting a system in place that aligns with your business, of course, that will get the leads in through we'll know that we can actually do something for free in the front end, offer some free value, and then people come through, and then they get nurtured with an email, or they come into your Facebook group. And of course, there's a certain way that you can do this, and then you make an offer to them. Okay, so this is the kind of system that works really well, that's been working for a lot of entrepreneurs. But that is actually the system that can actually trip up quite a lot of newcomers as well, to make that work, and to not only newcomers, but also those that want to scale. So it's about putting the puzzle pieces in place to make sure that the technology works together, that you are diligent when it comes to following up and nurturing your audience, and how can they get to know you better, how can they make sure they like you and they trust you, and how will then they go and buy from you as well. So there's a whole lots of different moving parts in that system. And you probably know it's called the sales funnel. So it's basically your system that will help you generate leads 24/7. And of course, you can also make sales 24/7 as well. And of course, there's hybrids as well. When you think about products which which are probably a higher investment for your clients, you would like to, they'll have you some questions, or you want to interview them whether they're a good fit for your program. Then of course you're going to build a hybrid where they can book a call with you, and then you sell your program on the call, or you discuss whether the program is suitable for them, and whether you can actually work with that person as well. Because it's no point working with someone who you don't believe that they can actually make it work. And because you as a coach or service provider, you're putting so much time and energy and love into that relationship and building the relationship. Okay, and that has to happen throughout. So the solution is, of course, 24/7 system to create business that works around the clock. And you want to get maximum output for the time and effort that you actually put in. And number 5, entrepreneurial mindset number 5 is definitely, and this is something that I've learned the hard way, because I thought I don't need that, I can do everything myself. It's invest in mentoring. Do invest in mentoring, because it's so much easier. And I tell you that from research, right? Lots and lots of successful people, most of them, right, can attribute everything in life and everything they've achieved to some sort of mentorship. Because it could be some sort of person who's been there, who's done it, who knows how it all works, and who can help you just take that little shortcut. Think about footballers. Like, I don't know whether there would be such amazing teams out there if they didn't have a mentor, like a sports coach, right? And I think mentors can really help you break out from your limited thinking and from your limited belief, and can bounce off some further ideas, look at things in a different perspective, just really get you to the next level. And sometimes you don't need to spend money if someone is a good mentor, or is it who can actually fulfill the role of a mentor, then partner up with that person, I guess. What would I be looking for if I was to find a mentor? Definitely I would like someone who can give me clarity, who understands me as a person, who understands me and my business, where I want to go, and at the essence of my business, and who will hold me accountable as well, right? Nudges me from time to time and make sure I'm moving forward, who supports me in the good and the bad, and also helps me stimulate some new ideas and looking at things from a different perspective. What happens without mentorship? Definitely we can do it ourselves. Absolutely, we can start and grow our business from scratch ourselves. But consider at what cost. Consider perhaps we might waste a lot of time, our own time, trying things out, trial and failure approach, and we get frustrated. We waste not only time, but maybe also money on possibly smaller courses, smaller programs, which will only give us maybe one piece of a puzzle. Whereas if you're working with someone who has a view of an end-to-end process or a picture of a business, then it can be such a different way of working, because I see that all over online in the internet. There's this gadget and this tool, and this little YouTube video will help you to do this, and that video will help you to do that, but it's always in small chunks. They're always just small pieces of information, and it's sometimes hard to put it together as a sort of working pieces as a whole. So working with someone or being in some sort of environment where you get that overview of A to Z, it's going to really, really excel you much, much faster. So it's accountability, of course. You might want to get some feedback as well. It's not that if you implement something, you try something out once, it may not work, and then you get defeated and you don't want to do it again. So when you have a mentor, then of course you can talk about what's been happening, how do you feel about it, and then go forward and maybe tweak and do it again, but maybe differently. So you're not sort of failing at this point or become totally unresponsive or demotivated. So it's about keeping you going again on that journey and maybe tweaking, and you may almost be there, right? It may be not far off from where you want it to be. So a couple of tweaks can really, really help. So yeah, as I said, so if you choose a good mentor, it's definitely someone who can provide you clarity, support, give you the feedback, hold you accountable. It's not about the mentors doing things for you. It's about doing with you and holding you accountable. And so finally, I just want to give you some journal questions for each of the points that we talked about. And of course, I want to summarize each of the points for you as well. Let me just check if there's any questions. Mikala, how are you? Zana, hi, lovelies. So have your pen and paper ready. And if you've missed the beginning part, then it's great, because you're going to get a little summary as well about the 5 mindsets, entrepreneurial mindsets, that will really 10x your income in 2019 if you do them, right? So number 1, it's adopt an abundance mindset. Write down, what would that mean to you, and how could you implement this on a daily basis? An example I gave of a limited mindset is there's so many businesses out there that already do what I do, and there's not enough customers going around. Okay, so that could be your limited thinking. But it's about swapping over and say, well, there are so many ideal customers around me, so they're all close to me, and just imagine as well, I guess, where these customers are, and maybe give them some names and faces and journal around them. Okay. Number 2, it's invest in your business. So don't think there's only expenses and you're losing money or whatever, if something hasn't worked out. Yeah, it's about asking yourself, maybe where did I cut corners in the past, which came to bite me afterwards. Like I didn't want to invest in, I personally, I didn't want to invest in a website. I did it myself. After I did it myself and spent like maybe 10, 15 hours learning how to do a WordPress website, I did one and it looked totally crap. And then I went to a web designer to do it again. So there you go, it came to bite me. So it was a wise investment to actually go and do a website, and so I don't have to learn everything myself. I really cut out time and wasted money, time, and energy. So ask yourself, where did I possibly cut corners in the past? And also, which investment do I think would really make a difference if I finally decided to make it happen in 2019? So which investment do I think would really make a difference if I finally decided to make it 2019? Which are some of the investments that you've procrastinated last year, and for was there whatever reason that you're saying, yes, I'm going to invest in 2019 because I really see how this can help me. Number 3 was to simplify your business. And this was all around the fact that 20% of your your efforts will produce 80% of results. That's just a Pareto rule. And quite often you probably realize that yourself, that we fuff around with things and you think, well, what's that going to bring? Is it really going to bring like 50 customers, or is it just a niggly thing that we just spend 2 hours and fixing something on the website or doing some sort of graphic? Okay, so analyze, what are things I'm currently doing? Am I procrastinating? Am I really doing the things to reach out to people and talk to people, making meaningful connections? Am I selling every single day? What are the things that I think would bring the most results? Okay, so just I think there's 3 questions here. What are the things I'm currently doing? So analyze what you're currently doing, how much time you're spending on those. And then evaluate, number 2, what are the things I feel are driving most of the results of the things I'm doing? Or maybe they're not even on the list, so you've got to add them, right? Maybe chuck some of the other things out the list, which when you realize, oh my gosh, they could be eliminated. That would be question number 3. What are things I really get hung up on and could be totally eliminated? And number 4, it's about setting up a system that will help your business make money and leads 24/7. And things you can ask yourself is, how could you drive your clients to your website or business page, whatever you might, wherever you want to take them, 24/7? How can I achieve this? How could you then capture, that they've been there, and how do you know that they've been there, right? Of course, we have several things that we could do. We could have a capture page and people will enter the email addresses, or you could pixel them through Facebook and then send them Facebook retargeting ads as well. So if we don't have this sort of thing in place, obviously you might be doing a lot of work up front and driving people to your website, but then you don't really know who's been there unless you have a means to actually capture either an email or pixel them. Okay, very important. Otherwise you're doing all this work up front and then what? You can't follow up, because quite a lot of people, they just bounce, they just don't come back, they forget you, to close the browser and so on, right? You're going to be able to follow up with them and to remind them that you're there. And there's different ways you can obviously do that. I'm not going to go into that sort of detail with newsletters and ads and different social media posts and so on. So, but just think about generally, is that thing in place, right? Can you follow up with people? Because all of us, we do something on social media. We might be doing Facebook Live trainings. We might be doing some posts. Did you know that if you post on your personal profile, anyone that comments or interacts with their post cannot be pixeled? Facebook would not know. Only if you put it on your Facebook business page and then share it to your profile, personal profile, only then Facebook will actually be able to track those visitors. Okay, so there's some holes there maybe we have to plug. And the last but not least is think about mentorship. Which areas would you like to have a mentor for? You know, where are you in your business right now? Where are you stuck? Maybe you need one or two or three different mentors for different things. You might have like some personal reasons why you want to have a mentor, maybe a nutrition mentor, someone who can help you with weight loss or parenting or whatever. So it doesn't need to be just a business mentor. But yeah, think about where the areas that I think would be great to have a mentor or some sort of accountability partner. And then you want to plan, you know, what you're going to do next, how you're going to approach a mentor, how you're going to find that mentor. You want to write down what are the things you want from them. What are you going to commit when working with them, and how you're going to interact and how often as well. So make sure that you've got all these things in place so that it's not loose. Even once you have a mentor, you don't want it just to be sort of loose and then it's just fizzle out again. Okay. And of course, you could always join like a program where you have the mentorship, where you are working with someone, where you invest in yourself, and where you are being driven, where you are being held accountable every single week, and you are in this program and you are in this lane, and for sure, you know, you are going to move forward in those areas. Yeah, and these are my 5 steps, my 5 key entrepreneurial mindsets that will help you 10x your income in 2019 and really catapult you forward. I would love you to leave any comment for me. Let me know what was useful and any takeaways that you had, of course. So I'm just going to wrap up. And of course, we did talk quite a bit about mentorship. I do run a mentorship program, of course. It's my Business Accelerator Mastermind. And if you feel called to maybe work with me or want to find out a bit more how you can reach out to me and work with me, and if you do say, yes, I do need a mentor, especially a business mentor, then perhaps we can have a conversation. I will leave a link there so you can book a call with me. And then we'll just assess, we'll just have a chat. You know, if I feel it's not right, then of course, you know, I will be very honest, and I would not want to, you know, push you into something and that's not right for both of us. But let me tell you just very briefly about the Business Accelerator Mastermind and how it's been working. There's already 10 beautiful women in there that have been, you know, making huge leaps in their businesses. And, you know, we're all a little bit on a different level. Some of them came in, they were very new. They still needed to find out what is their niche and their core message. And even we sussed out the brand and did visuals for the website, did visuals together. As sort of logos and also for social media. But then there's some in there that are a bit more advanced. They already have that in place and just stuck when it comes to connecting with the right audience, getting the right audiences, building their signature program, which is absolutely powerful, and it will connect with the customer, with the potential clients as well. So there's women in there that need help with fine-tuning their sales process, especially when it comes to putting all the technology in place. As I was mentioning before, it's about putting a system in place that works for you 24/7, be it the lead generation, be it the nurturing, as well as then converting potential customers into paying clients. So all of this I actually cover in the Business Accelerator program, because I do have this view from A to Z, because I've been there, I've done all of these different trainings and courses and programs, and I've implemented all of these things in different bits in my business, which then frustrated me because I didn't have the full picture. So this is what the ladies in my mastermind really appreciate about the way we run the group, is that it's literally looking at your business holistically, making sure that you know, you have your goals in place, that you have we talk about the mindset, we will give you some productivity tools as well that will help you create that time and that leverage in your business, and that we make sure that we create this your idea into a magnetic idea, like a super duper exciting idea that you can monetize what you've got in your head, okay? Because sometimes it doesn't always translate into some money, but it's about making sure we go through the steps to turn it into a really magnetic offering. So, and with that, we want to have, of course, a high-powered brand and message with the visuals. It's about making sure we know what are your ideal clients, where are they being found, how we can fine-tune your lead generation process, how we can then get those leads into paying customers with ease, right? And to really connect all the dots when it comes to technology. So ladies, if you're interested to connect with me, there is a little link there. I'd love to get your feedback also on the 5 key entrepreneurial mindsets. Let me know which one was the most useful for you, or maybe had an aha moment, and make sure you implement. And yeah, you'll also find me in the Reach Greatness TV group. So if you want to come and join the free group and mingle with us, then please, you're very well welcome. And that concludes my masterclass for today. I'm sending you lots and lots of love. And I will see you next week with another episode, which will be also at 1 o'clock GMT. And we'll be talking about, I'll actually have a guest with me, which is money mindset coach. And we're going to talk about we're going to talk about cash flow, how we can create increased cash flow in all about money and money mindset, I guess, in our businesses. So lots of love, ladies. I'll see you.